Hello, Tiger sports fans. Thanks for joining us this week on the Perry Thomas Show. Matt Payton with you as we get set to visit with the head coach of Fighting Tiger football, Perry Thomas. Later on in the show, we'll be joined by new running backs coach A.J. Strong as well. And Coach, these are the shows that we've been used to, accustomed to doing over the last few years. A lot of success with this program. Rocky start to the season, but you go on the road, a big 48-34 win over Bluefield, a much-needed win for the program.
Yeah, great win for the program, great win for the guys, the mentality of the guys, and to get our confidence going again. And I thought that we played similar to the way we played the first three games. We just finished this time. We start making those plays we needed to get the victory, and stop doing some of the things we were doing to help other teams beat us. We still had some issues with that, but a great win for us, and hopefully it's coming at the right time now as we get into league play.
You talk a little bit about that, not only being a great win, but you do get that confidence now. You get a little momentum going into your divisional matchups now. You start with Faulkner this coming week, so getting that road win over in a non-divisional game, really big for the psyche maybe of this team, I would think.
Well, no doubt. These guys work hard every day. They work hard in the weight room. They work hard in our meetings and on the field. And you begin to, no matter how you press it, when you're losing consistently, you begin to slip a little mentally. Things become harder for you. Your confidence isn't the same. So this win going into league play is huge for us because I think it's going to get us back up a little bit. It makes practice a little easier. Doesn't mean that the effort is easier. It's an easier day for you, and it just makes everything a little rosier for everyone.
And take a look at the box score for those following along on WLCU TV. The final score again, Campbellsville wins over Bluefield 48-34. The final score. It was a 27-21 game at halftime. Bluefield took the lead before the half, and we'll look at some highlights later on. But Hunter Brown, a monster day, Coach. 30 of 48, 391 yards, 4 scores through the air. He had 2 rushing touchdowns as well. He went on to be named the Mid-South Conference West Division Player of the Week. Zarek Willis, and Coach, this is a unique stat line for Zarek. He had 2 rushes for 53 yards, 6 catches for 132 yards. 8 touches. He had 8 first downs on those 8 touches. I'll let you touch on that in a minute. Manning and Baker, just a minute, Khalil Baker with 10 tackles apiece, and then total offense, you actually double up Bluefield pretty much. 549 yards of total offense for the Tigers, 277 for Bluefield College. And offensively, Coach, and you score actually a typo there. It was 48-34 the final score, but you guys put up 48 points. Offense really had a nice day.
Yeah, I mean we've been rolling since game one. Game one we struggled a little bit offensively, but the last 3 games we've been able to get on the scoreboard, complete some drives, finish some drives. We're still struggling at times with that, but we're doing much better, much more productive. You look, all the receivers are contributing. Zarek had a monster game. Zarek is a special talent. He's getting healthier each week, so he's able to break some plays for us and get some first downs. And a lot of people were concerned about Hunter Brown coming in. After we lost Jake Russell at our quarterback position, but Hunter's had a great year for us so far. He's been steady, making great decisions, and has really shown improvement in running the offense. So very pleased with where we're at offensively. We still have some situations where we can't allow ourselves not to do well on first down. The other day we had to come up with some big third down plays, and but at the same token, I think we were 4 for 4 on fourth down, and each of those 4 went for touchdowns eventually on those drives. So that's a solid thing. I thought defensively, we did a good job, especially in the second quarter on. Second quarter they had 2 touchdowns, but both of those came after big penalties. And then their last touchdown, the fourth quarter, came after a big penalty. So I thought we did a good job of keeping a good offense off the field. And, our offense helped with that, but I also thought our defense went out and did a good job putting the fire out.
And no turnovers for that offense as well.
Huge.
Flawless day.
I think we had 0 turnovers and 2 offensive penalties. And, when you do that with our type of people on offense and our system, you're going to have opportunities to score points. And then if your defense isn't playing well, it's going to be a shootout. If your defense is playing well, like we did the other day, then you come out with a comfortable win.
The Tigers did just that, a comfortable win, a 2-score game, 48-34, the final score. The Tigers victorious. We'll step away, come back. We'll take a look at some highlights of that game against Bluefield here on the Perry Thomas Show.
A champion doesn't get days off. It takes determination and drive to realize goals. From long nights to early mornings. From the courts to the classrooms to online. At Campbellsville University, this is why we play. This is how we learn. This is where champions are made. Find your calling for a life change at campbellsville.edu.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Perry Thomas Show. Matt Payton with you as we visit with the head coach of Fighting Tiger football, Perry Thomas, and talk about this past weekend's victory over Bluefield College. And Coach, the final score 48-34, a high-scoring affair. That first quarter, a very high-scoring affair. Early 27 total points. You guys traded scores back and forth, 4 possessions, 4 scores. Fast start. I know a defensive guy like yourself, not really a fan of that.
Yeah, it was a fast start. I was happy about our scoring, but not with theirs. And but you know, I mean, typically in games in college football, if you look around the country, you see those defenses take a quarter to settle down. You know, you can't mimic those offenses in practice, and I think it's both ways. You know, typically where we'll get hot and on offense, and the other team be hot on offense, and hopefully at some point you're thinking as a defense coordinator, we're going to slow it down a little bit, and our guys are going to settle in. It just takes a little longer sometimes than you want.
As we take a look at those highlights for those following along on WLCU TV, it was Bluefield getting on the board first. They take a 6-0 lead. Ashton Dixon with a touchdown strike to Braxton Knotts. Excuse me, that's Samaj Tisdale earlier with that touchdown there for Bluefield. They actually missed the snap, and that was something to kind of keep track of throughout the game. You start to wonder how that may impact the outcome. Jordan Duff comes back, catches a big one. Coach, you guys take the lead 7-6.
Well, I thought it was a good response by our guys to come back and you know, to walk down and get the score, and then you can see they came back and we got a little out of position, and the officials didn't call a very blatant hold right there, and they broke a long one for a touchdown. But once again, our guys charged back and kept the faith and just kept striking and grinding and made some big plays.
There you can see Hunter Brown kind of wait that zone coverage until his receiver crosses that linebacker, fits it into a tight window, and then this is just Tyus Alcorn being a man among boys to some degree.
And he's really good at that, and you know, Hunter throws some good balls, and you know, a great compliment to our offensive line, because I mean, Hunter's taken some sacks, but most of the time those have come off of just a missed assignment, but he's had time to sit in that pocket and allow those routes to come open against those coverages, and that's real big for us.
You force a 3-and-out early in the second quarter. You guys can't do much with it. Bluefield comes back to get a score, and again, right down the field, the Tigers get that answer.
Right. I mean, continue to drive, continue to grind, and feeling good about where we're at. And actually on that, you know, that touchdown Bluefield had, we was getting off the field on a big 3rd down situation, and we get a late hit, and we advance the sticks for them. And of course, they take it down and score.
Hunter Brown, patient in the pocket, finds Zarek Willis. A big pitch and catch for those two guys, Coach. They were a great tandem all day. Hunter to Zarek was a huge key for you guys. You get a touchdown run there to take the lead 21-20, and I know this is probably something that kind of kept you up a little bit Saturday night. It was the long kickoff return and a penalty set Bluefield up with a short field. So instead of taking a 1-point lead into halftime, they're able to score with about 90 seconds or so when they took possession to take the lead at the break.
Yeah, and that was scary because you don't want them to take that momentum into the half, and they were able to do that. And the frustrating thing for me is that their last 3 scores came off of penalties that advanced their drives. You know, the kicking game where we gave them the ball down on the 33, I think, and then they had 2 where we was 4th down and they got off the field. I mean, they got first downs because of penalties. So those are things that we have to correct. But I thought our offense did a good job of coming back, churning it. I thought we scored right there. They didn't give it to us, but we went on and punched it in.
Here, Chance Goodman comes back, and the running backs, Chance and Wade, continue, and we'll talk to A.J. Strong about this here in just a bit, but they continue to complement each other so well, Coach. And there you see a big run by Keanu, getting some of those receivers involved in the run game as well.
Yeah, and Keanu's going to be a special player for us, and it's great to see him beginning to get that confidence in there to make those moves and those off his natural instincts that he always has done, and so it's good to get him going.
And then here out of the backfield, Chance Goodman catches a little swing pass. Again, puts his head down, charges forward. Another first down for the Tigers. Hunter Brown back to work yet again. Tyus Alcorn on the sideline. Excuse me, that's Kendon Young on the sideline. You can start to see the development there for Kendon.
Yeah, big catch for Kendon. I thought he had a solid game, made some big catches, a couple of them first downs for us. And, you know, come back, and Hunter's got all the time in the world, so we're able to just churn it, and that big old offensive line gets on that goal line, and when they get those quarterback sneaks, they feel like that's them scoring.
And there you see Hunter Brown, after Campbellsville scores that last touchdown, it made it a 35-27 game after a couple of rushing scores. Hunter Brown again leading this offense down the field. Coach Kendon Young again on the sideline, working with the football in his hands, the yards after the catch for Kendon. And Hunter again looking for Kendon on the far side, a couple of big catches for the local product on this drive.
Yeah, and he's beginning to get that college confidence now, and that's huge for us. And Chance and Wade running it up in there, and that little screen play works well for us. We're getting big stick movement off of that, and then come back with another one of those fade routes to tie us in the end zone.
And they almost look identical. If you go back and watch those side by side, they look identical. And here, Campbellsville with a 42-27 lead. Silent Drake Mays gets a sack there. Bluefield goes on to score here, Coach, but it took them, it took them quite a while into the second half, nearly 26 minutes or so into the second half before they could get on the board.
Yeah, and once again, it came after we got an interference on the 4th and 14, I think. So, defensively, second half, I thought we played lights out. The old Zarek would have scored on this play. He's still a little banged up, and we've been messing with him about that, but that was a big run for him. And, I thought it was huge that our guys came back and answered the call, answered Bluefield, and, it gives you that comfortable margin of victory right there where you're not stressed in that last moment or so. And I think on our kickoff, we got a fumble, and that was able to go in our victory formation and win the game.
And Wade Holtzclaw scored the final touchdown for Campbellsville to put a bow on that 48-34, and that makes that long bus ride home a lot easier, doesn't it, Coach?
Yeah, much easier, and the bus ride was long, especially going. One of our buses, the one I was on, the AC went out about midway, so we had 3 hours in the heat. I started to pull ranks and move one of those young coaches onto it, but I decided to stick it out.
Well, it worked out for the Tigers this past weekend with that victory over Bluefield College. We'll let Coach step out. We'll bring A.J. Strong in, the new running backs coach here at Campbellsville University, a familiar name for Tiger fans. We'll get his thoughts on this Tiger offense and maybe some of the thoughts on this upcoming matchup with Faulkner as well. Stay with us on the Perry Thomas Show.
Excellence.
Nurturing.
Rooted.
Diversity.
Experience personal, academic, and spiritual growth at Campbellsville University.
Welcome back to the Perry Thomas Show. Matt Payton with you as we are joined now by the new running backs coach here at Campbellsville University, A.J. Strong, a familiar name for Tiger fans. A.J. played his college ball here at Campbellsville, and congratulations on the new gig. Welcome to the staff, I guess, even though you're kind of several weeks in now. But what has this first few weeks of transitioning from player to coach been like for A.J. Strong?
Well, thanks. It's been different, just seeing the outside in and gaining more respect for coaches and trying to get an understanding of what it takes to be a coach. And it's not just the X's and O's.
When you were finishing up your career at some point during your career, was coaching what you wanted to do, or is it just something that kind of presented itself, a door that opened that you thought maybe now's the time to pursue that, or, how did that happen?
Well, I had a toss-up between an athletic director or a coach, and I said I'd rather go the coach route because I want to make an impact on young men's lives to get to the next level or just to prepare them for the world.
And you finished up your career last year. Now, is it tougher for you being on the sideline watching than it was when you're out on the field? How do you handle that right now?
It's tough because you can see certain things that you can make a huge impact to help the team, but it's easy for me to explain and show the guys to get them to understand if you do this, it will make us successful. So.
And has that helped being in this offense? Coach Garris, the guy that called plays while you were playing, now the guy that you're under as the running backs coach. Are you on the same wavelength with him with what you've seen over the last few years? Does that help as well?
Yes, it's helped a lot. It's crazy because I sit back and think about stuff he used to get on me about, and now I see it in film like, whoa. Now I see why he went that route towards me, and I can sit down and explain it as in a different way to Goodman and Wade about the situation, how to handle something, or what they should do in the game.
You mentioned Chance Goodman and Wade Holtzclaw, the two guys that have carried the load. Walk me through some of the strengths of those guys as you see it from a coaching standpoint. We can start with Chance Goodman.
Goodman's more so of like a scat back type. He kind of resembles Darren Sproles a little bit. He's not as fast, but he can be physical and he's fast enough to get outside. And he's a little smaller thing. He can get between tackles. Then you have Wade, who's kind of like a Danny Woodhead. He goes through tackles, ground and pound, can take contact. They both block very well. I mean, they hold on to the ball great. They can catch the ball in the backfield. So they're both versatile backs.
And it appears to me that they both complement each other very well. And the one thing that you touched on a little bit, they're smaller backs, but both run very physically, even given their stature.
Yes, they do. You would see that other teams have these bigger backs that can take on the pounding, the ground, the pound, and the bruising. But our backs are so physical that we can take it on and we can squeeze through smaller gaps and pursue through the hole and go to the next level.
You also handle some other duties here at the university in terms of football. You also handle the equipment. Now, that's equipment for 100 plus, 150 plus players when you start talking about some of the JV and others. How has that been for you, and is that a ton to keep up with or what?
It's a lot to keep up with. I mean, I understand, like, you'll have a guy who has needs a helmet fixed for a JV guy, and it might be a different helmet. And I'm like, okay, now I know what helmet you're talking about and get the stuff out for him. But when you have managers like Dalton Swing, Jonathan Finn, and Kara Kazoo, and Tara Scott, and Jake Rowdy, they actually compliment and help me out and get things done that we need to get done.
Well, that may be the first time that the managers have ever gotten a shout out on the Perry Thomas Show,
Yeah.
so I'm sure that they'll appreciate that. You also get stuff ready on game day, making sure that the down markers are out and other things are set up. So you're out early before the game to get all that done, so you can then focus on the coaching duties, correct?
Yes, make sure everything's out, make sure we have down distance, make sure the numbers are out so we can have everything set and ready to go.
Walk me through this Faulkner matchup a little bit. Big game for you guys, Mid-South Conference West Divisional game. As you sit in meetings and focus on the offensive side of the ball, what are some things for the Tigers as you look to put points on the board against that defense on Saturday?
I mean, we have to just go at them, give them all we got. And we run the ball hard like we've been doing these past couple games and then air it out. Give it out to our playmakers like Tyus Alcorn and have Zarek Willis help us out, and then we hand the ball off to Goodman and Wade to help them out and give Hunter open space to throw the ball.
AJ, thanks for joining us, buddy, and again, congratulations on this new gig.
Thank you.
AJ Strong, the running backs coach here at Campbellsville University. The Tigers take the field Saturday. They'll look for win number 2 against Faulkner University. It's a 12 p.m. kickoff, Tiger Tailgate Show at 11:30. We'll be right back here in just a moment with Coach Thomas's thoughts on this matchup with Faulkner as well here on the Perry Thomas Show. Welcome back to the Perry Thomas Show. Matt Payton with you as we welcome the head coach back in now to talk about this upcoming matchup with Faulkner University. Family weekend here on campus, Coach. I'm sure a lot of the guys, especially the local guys, will get some family in on campus. It's a big matchup, your first divisional game here, and I know you love that noon kickoff.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great, going to be a great atmosphere for football. Noon kickoff, so we can get it going early and still allow people to get home and watch the bigger games and people to travel without getting into the night and so forth. And we're playing up against one of the top teams in the country. You know, a team that's traditionally a top 20 team. They lost to Georgetown last week, so they dropped out of the top 25. I think they're 27th now, but very strong athletic team. Always a battle with us, and we're excited about the matchup.
12 o'clock kickoff. You can catch that game on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. The Tiger Tailgate Show begins with Jordan Alves at 11:30 a.m. Coach, this is a team that you've defeated each of the last 2 years. You talked about being a very powerhouse type of program. You knocked them off 2 years ago at home. Last year you went down there in an absolute shootout,
right,
and able to win a crazy ball game there at Faulkner. So a team that probably has a little bit of revenge in its mind, but here this is a very important game game in terms of the divisional standings as well.
Yeah, I would say that, we've beaten them like 2 years in a row, and they've been ranked in the top 5. And so we've kind of been a thorn and a nemesis to them. So I'm sure that they're excited about the opportunity to play us at 1-3. But we know what's at stake for us. We need to get this victory if we want to, continue to have a chance to win this league. And it's going to be a tough game. They're very talented, very well coached, got athletes in every position on both sides of the ball. Defense, everyone knows how good they are on offense every year. But defensively, they're one of the top 20 teams in the country on defense. And it's going to be a battle. I think they're giving up 16 points a game. So we're going to have to execute in every position. We're going to have to limit our penalties that we've been hurting ourselves with. And we did a good job of that the other day, but we got to do even a better job now. And we got to secure the ball and get some takeaways. Last year, the big break, because if you think back to that game, early, they were kind of dominating us. And the big turn came when we got an interception for a touchdown, Marquise Kane. So we need to make those things happen to give ourselves a chance to win and just come out and play solid football.
And I looked at that roster, a lot of new names defensively for Faulkner. Right. However, offensively, Clayton Nicholas, the quarterback, is back. Joe Jones, their starting running back, returns. Rob Lockhart, a big playmaking receiver for that team back. So offensively, a lot of familiar faces on that Faulkner team that you guys have seen a few times.
And very explosive, each one of them. The quarterback, Nicholas, threw the ball 58 times against us last year. We completed 28 of them. Lockhart's an All-American. And the running backs are strong. And the tough part about them is if it was just those three, then you can kind of design your defense around it. But everyone they put out there can run, and everyone they put out there can play. And it reminds me a lot of us on offense. We have guys in every position that you better defend. If not, they're going to be a threat. Well, it's the same situation with them. So we have to grow up. That young secondary has to grow up, but also in the box because they will run it and they have the ability to break 80 yards on a run. So we're going to have to just continue to grow up, continue to grind, and see where we're at.
Safe to say this is the most explosive, wide-open offense that you will have seen to this point in the season.
No doubt, yes. Very seasoned and know what they're doing. And we're going to see that a lot in these last 5 or 6 games because of the teams we're playing. Everyone's experienced and very in tune with their systems.
Talk about their defense being ranked highly. What do you guys do offensively? Some of the keys there on the other side of the football to combat that?
Well, first thing is penalties and turnovers. We have to have a turnover-free type ball game, and we have to limit those penalties. We can't hurt ourselves. I think we have to do a better job on first down. The other day against Bluefield, I thought first down hurt us some. We wasn't as good as we like to be on first down. And because of that, we got into some long third downs that we had to, get done. So we want to put ourselves in a better position on first down where we're looking at 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5, 2nd and even 7, as opposed to 2nd and 10 plus. So I think that's going to be important. And then we have to secure the ball. If we're not scoring, we have to eat some clock. And I don't care about the clock typically. I'm about scoring, so I prefer that we go out and just score.
Talk a little bit about special teams. I know we had talked a few moments after the game at Bluefield last Saturday. Weren't thrilled with some of the kick coverage things.
Right.
Have you guys been able to address that at all?
Yeah, I mean, getting a couple of guys back has helped some on that, and then we've spent a great deal of time working on that kickoff. We haven't felt good about our kickoff over the last few weeks. I think. Actually, all season other than Pikefield. U-Pike we covered well, but we haven't covered kicks well, and we've had to pooch sometimes just because we didn't want big returns. Well, the problem with pooching, if there's not a great pooch, then you're going to give them the ball at the 40 or 50 anyway. So when we get those pooches and we're stopping them at the 30, 35, we're fine with that. But when they're getting up around the 40, 45, you're making a really short field. Then we've gotten some penalties that have advanced the sticks and put them on the opposite side to 50, so it made a really short field. So we've really spent a great deal of time on this week on just our lanes and our effort to make plays. We build our program on guts and fundamentals, and everyone thinks guts is playing hard. Well, that's not true. Everybody plays hard. Guts is playing hard, but doing what you need to do to get it done and doing it properly and getting off of those blocks to make the play. And our guys, we spent a great deal of time this week just working on our guts in our lane integrity.
Well, Coach, best of luck to you this weekend, and hopefully the Tigers can start the Mid-South Conference West schedule 1-0.
Yes, sir. Hopefully we will.
Family weekend this weekend on campus, so come out, support the Tigers. It's a 12 noon kickoff for Campbellsville as they play host to Faulkner University, their first Mid-South Conference West Divisional game of the season. The Tiger Tailgate Show begins at 11:30. You can catch the coverage on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. That's WLCU TV and 88.7 The Tiger, as well as our online platforms. Thanks to Coach Thomas and AJ Strong for joining us this week. We'll see you next week on the Perry Thomas Show.
Endurance.
Ambitious.
Dedicated.
Fellowship.
Purpose. Find yours at Campbellsville University.